Welcome back. Number 410, trust secrets. Why agreements create cash flow. The contract rule most trustees ignore. This video explains why written agreements are the operational backbone of a private express trust. You'll learn why contracts are not optional in trust administration, how proper agreements protect authority and cash flow, and why disciplined documentation separates lawful structure from confusion. This is education on contract-based trust administration, not statutory entities, but private agreements functioning under common law. Trusts are not reserved for the wealthy. They are for families who want structure instead of confusion. And here is a truth most people never hear. A trust without written agreements does not control anything. It drifts. And when it drifts, money drifts with it. In this video, we are going to clarify why agreements are the foundation of daily trust administration. If you are a trustee or preparing to serve as one, this understanding protects your authority, your structure, and your family's long-term stability. A huge common misunderstanding people believe is that once the trust is created, once the declaration is signed, the structure runs itself. That belief is incorrect. A trust is created by contract, yes, but it is maintained by contracts. When trustees operate casually, when agreements are verbal, when responsibilities are not written, confusion enters quietly, and confusion always affects cash flow. Trusts fail operationally when agreements are not written and approved by the Board of Trustees. This is not about the wealth level, it's about the discipline level. When trustees avoid drafting agreements because they feel unqualified, they unintentionally weaken the structure they are sworn to protect. And what does this misunderstanding cause? Trustees rely on handshake agreements, managers operate without defined authority, beneficiaries use assets without lease terms, vendors work without service contracts, payments are made without structured obligations, and the results? Unclear responsibility, unclear authority, unclear money flow, all of which equals exposure. The goal of this lesson is simple. Understand that every movement of value inside a trust must be governed by written agreement. A common law private express trust exists by private contract. It is not a statutory creation. It does not operate by corporate code. It operates by agreement. If you remove agreements, you remove its operating system. Statutory entities depend on registration and regulation. Private trusts depend on documented contracts and fiduciary conduct. This is a must-be understood jurisdictional difference. Some trustees believe contracts are only necessary for large transactions. That is incorrect. Substance protects structure, not dollar size. Here are some essential contracts every successful trust uses. A caretaker agreement for property maintenance, a lease agreement when a beneficiary uses something like a trust vehicle, an employment agreement for a general manager, a management agreement between related trusts. We'll talk about trust structuring soon. Just let's get through this foundational series first. These are not optional paperworks. They are structural pillars. Without them, authority blurs. Control in a trust does not mean personal ownership. Control is defined by legal title resting with trustees, beneficial interests defined by declaration, and authority exercised through documented agreement. When a trustee drafts and approves a contract, he clarifies where authority begins, where responsibility rests, where compensation flows. Without written agreement, the trustee appears informal, and informality creates challenge. At this point, you know how trusts function through contracts, so you may need written agreements for employment contracts for general managers, the executive secretary, caretaker agreements for real property, lease agreements for beneficiaries, whether that be real property like a house, some real estate, or vehicles, boats, whatever, jewelry. We're going to get into it. Service contracts with outside vendors, management agreements between trust or entities. Every moment of value must be defined in writing. And when an agreement is required, a member of the Board of Trustees must draft it, which is never a problem because these agreements and contracts are templated out with proper trust letterhead. If you don't recall what a proper trust letterhead is, go watch this video. All the officer/manager has to do is fill in the required information. Administration requires written structure. If you are a parent building something for your children, if you are running a family enterprise, if you're trying to move from chaos to order, you do not need to be a lawyer. You need discipline. You need to subscribe because there is zero gatekeeping here. Imagine looking forward to all the videos teaching you how to set up and manage your assets in a private trust. Strategically managed by a trustee for the benefit of your beneficiaries, and you're not subscribed. Do you have commitment issues, dog? Subscribe. It's free to subscribe and hit the notification bell so YouTube cannot decide when and how you see the next video. It's free. This series is foundational because private trust is a dense subject and nothing to play with. America does not play about its taxes. We're going to get into taxes too, because that's the exciting stuff. Tools exist, templates exist, study exists. Trustees grow into their role. Running to an attorney for every agreement weakens administrative confidence and slows the trust operation. A trustee must learn to write. It does not have to be perfect. So here's the resolution. Clear contracts create clear cash flow. Detailed agreements are the bedrock of disciplined administration. With them, authority is defined. Liability is clarified. Compensation is structured. Exposure is reduced. Without them, money becomes uncertain, responsibility becomes arguable, and your structure becomes fragile. The trust remains lawful but poorly administered, and administration is everything. Own nothing, control everything through structure, through contract, through disciplined written administration. Most of the time, all we need is clarity, which is the number one reason to subscribe and make sure all notifications are checked. In my opinion, there's no time for half information videos on this channel. This channel exists to educate families and entrepreneurs on lawful structure under common law, without hype, without fear, without noise. For those who want to protect without permission, lead without being loud, and pass on more than just money. Everything here is built for clarity, privacy, and precision, so you can move forward with confidence. Since you made it this far, I suggest you watch this video next. It's a little dated, but it's still chock with really, really good information. So I guess I'll see you in the next video, which will be number 5 of 10 on this administration series. And that means we halfway there. So I'll see you in a minute. Peace.